Just don't. There are some things that are better left unsaid. Today, I'm going to tell you about 10 morally grounded things that you should never tell or share with anyone. Stay tuned. Hi, and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. Well, we've all heard the usual advice of what you should never share with anyone, and that's your personal finances, your marital problems, who you voted for, medical history, things like that. But I want to take it deeper. I always take it deeper, right? I want to talk about 10 things that you should never share with anybody, not because they're private, but because they're sacred. It's not about secrets. It's about moral integrity. It's about wisdom. It's about your character. You have got to know when silence is the most powerful thing you can offer. So let's start with number one, and that is sharing someone else's story. Can you imagine what a breach of trust that is? When someone lets themselves be so vulnerable that they share their personal story with you, and then you go around telling other people. That is so hurtful, and that has probably happened to many of us. So you know what I'm talking about. Somebody else's story is not your story to share unless you ask them permission to share it out of concern for them or wanting to help someone else. Don't ever share someone else's story. Number two, words you overheard, whether it was gossip or just a passing moment where you heard something that you weren't supposed to hear. Don't share that with other people. If you weren't meant to hear it, you're certainly not meant to share it. Have you ever been in a situation where you've been around someone and all you hear is, well, she doesn't want to invite you anymore. And so you go back and tell that person, and they're very hurt over it. Well, maybe because you didn't hear the whole story, maybe that person was saying, it puts too much pressure on my friend Judy when she's invited to go somewhere because she's more of a homebody and I don't want to put that pressure on her. So I'm not going to invite her anymore. So somebody was saying something to be kind. You heard a little piece of it, and then you go back to that person and say, well, she's not inviting you anymore. See how things can get out of control? Just don't say anything. Number three, your good deeds for praise. Talking about your good deeds can turn your kindness into self-promotion. That's not what it's about. When you do kind-hearted deeds for other people, you do that from inside your heart. You don't have to brag about it. You don't have to tell everybody that you paid for this person's groceries because they were short on money. Don't talk about it because you've just discounted whatever good deed you've done. Just do it, keep it private, and don't be looking for praise for it. God knows what you've done, and that's all that matters. You do not have to tell that to anybody else. Number four is someone else's past mistakes. Even if they hurt you, you don't have to go around telling other people what they did and trying to bring them down. It's unnecessary and it's unkind. We all have past mistakes, and we don't necessarily want them to be told to everybody or anybody. How would you like it if someone held up a microphone to your past? You wouldn't, would you? So let's not do that to someone else. Number 5, secrets kept in confidence. This one is deeply sacred, in my opinion. When someone entrusts you with their deepest, darkest secret, you have to protect that trust at all cost. You have to be loyal to the promise you made to keep that secret to yourself. It's a form of love and respect and honor. Never confide someone else's secret to anybody else. You wouldn't want it done to you, so please don't ever do that to someone else. Number 6, personal victories that should be humble. There are some things that should just be between you and God. He knows what your personal victories are. You don't have to go out and broadcast them to the world to try to impress someone. If you fasted and prayed for a week or 2 weeks for somebody, keep that to yourself. You don't have to broadcast it to have somebody pat you on the back and say, oh, yay for you. What a good person you are. That's between you and God. Be humble. Don't talk about your personal victories. Number 7, what you think someone else meant. You don't know what they meant. You have no idea. And if you go around saying, well, she didn't exactly say this, but I know that's what she meant, that's not using discernment. That's assumption, and you have no right to assume what someone else meant. That will cause division and misunderstanding. So, if you didn't hear exactly what they said, just don't repeat it. Number 8, never tell anyone every detail of your spiritual life. Some things are better left to mystery, and your spiritual life is between you and God. If your spiritual life turns into a podcast, then I don't think your quiet time is working, if you know what I mean. Our spiritual lives are a deeply personal journey, and we're all on a different journey at different times in our lives. So it's fine to share your faith. I do that all the time. I couldn't live without doing that. But you don't have to share every single detail. Just keep that between you and God. Number 9, unsolicited advice. Oh boy, this one can be hard for all of us because we want to be helpful and help people get on the right track. But if they don't ask you for your advice, don't give it because that can come across as very judgmental. If you weren't invited to speak to somebody's life, don't do it. If they need something from you, they'll ask. So take the hint. When somebody's sharing something with you, just be a good listener, be present, be there for them. But keep your mouth shut until they ask you for advice. And finally, number 10, you should never tell anyone that you love them unless you mean it. Those words, I love you, are thrown around so easily in today's world. And it makes those 3 words lose its meaning. Love is sacred and it's a deep feeling. It's not just words that you say, it's something you feel in your heart. I don't think we should ever diminish the power and the meaning of love. Love is not a trend, it's truth. So unless you really mean it and it's felt in your heart, don't just go around saying, I love you to anybody or on the internet to everybody. That diminishes what love really is. Saying I love you to someone should make them feel special. They should feel your love. And if you just throw those words around lightly, they don't hold any meaning. And it devalues what love really is. So if I tell you I love you, I mean it. So much of our beauty in these golden years is found in what we choose not to say. If somebody confides in you and tells you their stories and asks you to pray for them and all the other things that I talked about in this video, take it as an honor, as a privilege. Don't let people down. It takes strength to stay silent. When the world wants all this noise and they want all the stories, all the gossip, all the everything, at this stage in life, we all want a clear conscience. We all want to know that we're doing the right thing, that we are morally upholding our commitments to other people and what we tell them we will keep to ourselves and how we will honor them. Maybe all of us can look back and see all these things happen to us where none of them were upheld. Let's not do that to anyone else. We know better and we can do better. Let me know in the comments section if you agree with these 10 things that I talked about, or if you have some you could add to it. Because after all, we're never too old to learn more, to learn to be better and to do better. And by helping each other, that's exactly what we're doing, lifting each other up. Well, now I'm going to leave you with an inside beauty tip. My inside beauty tip comes from Matthew 6:3. But when you give to the needy, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. When Jesus said these words, he was saying, do good quietly. Help people privately. Don't do things to be seen or noticed or praised. This verse reminds us to be humble and to have good moral character. The good things you do for other people, whether you're kind to them or you keep their confidences, just any good thing, it doesn't need applause or praise. You don't need people to clap for that. All you need is for God to know that what you do, you're doing out of the kindness and the love that's in your heart. Love, kindness, private matters are all sacred, and they shouldn't be shared for attention. We're only human, and we're all going to mess up. We're not going to do these 10 things perfectly. And I know God doesn't expect us to be perfect, but we can pray for quiet moral strength. We can pray to think before we speak and to act on our own souls. So let's make a deal. I'll pray for you and you pray for me. I thank you so much for being here today. I truly do appreciate it. And until we meet again, this is the old girl signing out. See ya.